In this video, I'm going to show you how to do an MLA works cited page on a Google Doc. Now, if you've done a works cited page before, just by looking at this, you can tell that it's pretty messy and it needs some work. The good news, though, is that they're actually pretty easy to do. It just takes a few simple steps that are pretty easy to get the hang of. One important thing to know right off the bat is that all the text needs to be uniform. You can tell right now that it's not. We have different fonts, sizes, color. Some of the text is bold, some is underlined, so we need to clean all that up. I'll start by just highlighting the entire document, and then I go up to the font toolbar, click down, and most of you will probably use Times New Roman, so I'll click on that. Looks a little bit better. Now when the text is all still highlighted, I'll go over to the font toolbar and click 12, which is the standard size. Notice how this entry and the works cited title are both in bold, and they shouldn't be. So all you need to do, and this is a good tool just to make sure that everything is taken care of, highlight everything again, click on bold to make everything bold, click on it again to make nothing bold, and then you're all set. You'll also notice that this entry and the title here are underlined, and they shouldn't be, so just hit the same thing. Underline to make everything underlined, hit it again to make sure nothing is underlined. Then you're all set. Notice how this entry right here is a different color, it's lighter gray, and this entry has a highlight behind it. If you use an online citation generator, and then you copy and paste it into a Google Doc, that's typically why those things happen. So in order to fix that, just to make sure everything's taken care of again, highlight everything, go up to text color, and just choose right here, black, and then go to highlight color and hit none, and then you're all set. The reason you don't want to do that same thing with italics is there are some components of the entries that need to be italicized. So you don't want to do the thing where you italicize everything and then nothing, because that will undo some of the things that actually need to be italicized, like this. Instead, do a quick review to make sure that the components of the entries that are italicized should be, and then go up to the works cited title, hit italics, because the title should not be italicized, and then you're all set there. The works cited title should be centered, but you don't want to just hit tab or spacebar over, highlight it, go to center align, and then you're all set. We're getting much closer. One thing we need to do right now, though, is make sure that these indentations are all uniform. Right now they're not, and they need to be aligned correctly. So highlight everything, and then go over to this right here, this little triangle with the bar above it, and if you hover over just the triangle part, it says left indent. Click on that, drag it in a little bit, past where the furthest point is, so you can see right here, I'm dragging past the furthest indented entry, and then drag it back to 0, and there we go. One other thing to note is that there shouldn't be extra spaces in between entries, so if you notice an extra space like this, quick delete it, and it looks like we're all good. Now we're going to get our line spacing correct, so highlight everything again, go to line spacing toolbar right there, go down to double, and then once it's double spaced, you actually want to go up and delete the spaces once more. So it should all look like this. Now there are two more things we need to do. And the first thing we need to do is something that seems a little bit intimidating, but it's actually pretty easy. We're going to go back up here to this triangle and bar in the margins. But first, let's highlight everything except for the title. I'm going to zoom in just so you can see what I'm doing. You'll notice that there's a space in between the triangle and this bar. What you're going to want to do to start is click on the triangle, which is the left indent again, and drag it over to 0.5. After you've done that, and I'll zoom out, you'll notice everything is moved. Zoom back in. Here's where you want to click on only the bar above the triangle. That's the first line indent. So you drag this back to 0, and you'll notice how they separated. And then once I zoom out, you'll notice that any entry that is more than one line has correctly indented the subsequent lines. So lines 2 and 3 here are indented correctly, line 2, and line 2, and we're all set. And it doesn't affect the entries that are just one line. Something to note too is that once you've altered the first line indentation, you can type and add to this, and you can add as many lines as you want, and it will follow those same rules. It will continue to indent them and only keep the first line left justified. This is why using these tools up here is a lot better than spacing or tabbing over, because it makes sure that no matter how much information you have, it all keeps it consistent and uniform and correct. So we're almost done. The only thing we need to do now is just make sure it's all in alphabetical order. Again, this is very easy. All you need to do is highlight the title you want to move around. You can either do a shortcut on your keyboard or go up to Edit, Cut, Find the space you want to include it, just hit enter and paste it in there and delete the extra space. And then just make sure the rest are in alphabetical order. So I'll do this quickly. And there we go. Everything's in alphabetical order and we have a correctly formatted works cited page. If you follow these steps, you should be in good shape.